Welcome to the Diva Details. Welcome to the Diva Details, where bold, confident women embrace life unapologetically. From love and sex to wellness and reinvention, we keep it raw, real, and powerful. No filters, no limits. Just fearless conversations to help you thrive. Let's dive in with Diva Mia and Diva Cat.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Diva Mia, and today I have a special guest on here. Her name is Diva Shauvon, and you may recognize Shauvon. She was actually on The Real World and on MTV, and she is a strong woman. She has transitioned into multiple different careers. She embraces change, and she helps her faith guide her. And one of the things I love about Shauvon is she's such a good mother as well. And I think as women, we struggle sometimes with balancing career and life and work. She is amazing at being such a strong leader, a strong woman, and a strong business person. I know it's challenging for a lot of women out there to balance all of these things together. But I wanted to talk to Shauvon a little bit and see if she can help guide us through managing our lives and juggling all the things that we as women have to endure and how she gets through it, even in the challenging times. So without further ado, I wanted to introduce Diva Shauvon. Hey, Diva Shauvon.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on. I just so excited to have you today.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited to just talk and, share story and all that good stuff.
Well, wonderful. Well, why don't we start kind of at the beginning? When you were on a reality TV show, can you kind of guide me through how you went about getting on the TV show, first of all, and then what guided you on the TV show once you were on and how you felt through that process?
Yeah, it's one of those opportunities that I didn't know I was really going to go for that. I was going to Sacramento State University and studying journalism, and my minor was PR, so public relations. So I knew I wanted to do something with public relations and marketing and maybe being like a news reporter or news anchor. So that was kind of my whole thing. I knew I wanted to be on TV in some sort. And then, the opportunity auditioned and got on Real World. And that's when it was really popular back then. And so I got to live in Australia. And then the challenges started for MTV. And I started doing challenges for them and was in Thailand, New Zealand, Czech Republic. So lots of places around the world. I got to travel and really have some amazing experiences. And that was a really big part of my 20s. So I feel like it was a really good time just to get to experience and travel the world and do these really amazing shows. And it was just a great time in your 20s to kind of get to figure out who you are, what you want to do with your life, and get to travel and things like that. So especially before marriage, kids, things like that. So it was really fun. It was a really good time.
So you went on TV, and you'd not been on TV before, but you were kind of thinking you might because you were a journalist major. But then you embraced it and you decided to travel. How was that? Going to new places, experiencing new locations. Was it scary at all, or did you just love every bit of it?
Things out of our comfort zone. I feel like that's what helps us grow. So even though there might be a little bit of worry about, oh my gosh, I'm going to this new place, or I'm doing this or doing that, there's always that with anything we do. That could be with traveling the world or even staying in your own state doing something. Anything that's new that pushes us outside of our comfort zone can be worrisome. But when we do that with anything in our lives, it causes growth. And so with doing all that I did in my 20s, I have to say it made me who I am now. I mean, I wouldn't trade anything that I experienced, anything that I went through, good and the bad, because, for one, getting to travel and see the world is so important. I feel like that's important for all of us to get to do that, to see different cultures and meet different people that we would never see. But then also just what it does to our heart, our mind, our body, everything for us. It's such a huge spiritual thing to travel and to just see so many new places and experience things. And I really feel because I got to do that, and that part of my season of life really prompted me for who I became later in life.
And then what did you do right after that? What did you transition into after MTV?
I did that for a long time. I filmed into my 20s. A lot of other things came with that. You got a lot of appearances and you get to the MTV Music Awards and all these fun things. So I did a lot of extra things like that within commercials, fun stuff like that. And then I started realizing I kept getting the call to go on the next show. And I thought I kind of have to put a halt to this at one point and decide, okay, now that I'm getting towards 30, what is my plan? What do I want to continue doing with my career? Is it going to keep being on TV? Am I going to try to be a news reporter now? Am I going to go a different route? So all those things kind of come into play. And eventually, as I got close to 30, I came to Maui on a vacation and then was like, wow, this is one of the most beautiful places. I've traveled so many places around the world and just fell in love with it. Went back to San Diego where I was living. And I just said, how can I make this happen? A lot of people say, oh, it's so hard to move to Hawaii, or that's just a bucket list dream. And I just thought, I know I could make it happen. Anything that we put our mind to, we want to do it, we can make it happen. And so I just said, I've always wanted to live there, like after being there and vacation there, and this is just where I need to be. And so then I moved, I fell in love with it. And I thought, there's no other better place to live. We want to be in this world. We should live where we want to live, be where we want to be, have the career we want to have just whatever makes your heart happy. Whatever you feel called to do it. And for me, I just felt this pull and calling that Maui was my home and where I was meant to be. And I just made it happen. And I've been here now for about 10 years. There's a little bit where I moved back to San Diego when I had my daughter. But besides that, it'd be over 10 years that I've been on Maui now.
So you were single when you moved there. Is that right?
With my now husband, we were dating at that time. And actually, it was our going away kind of like gathering party that we had with all of our friends, the day before we were flying out to go to Maui, and he proposed. So that was really sweet. So then
that's so sweet.
Maui, because it was nice to be able to say, okay, I'm moving all the way to Maui together with you. It'd be great for us to either be married or engaged. And so we talked about it, but that was it. I did not know that I was going to ask, because that was a really big surprise. So we got engaged the day before, and then we came to Maui as an engaged couple. And then I'd say it was like within 6 months later, we got married in McKenna.
That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. So it's almost like a destination wedding, but everybody came to your destination.
Yeah, basically. But everybody was happy. They're like hearing how beautiful Maui was. And so, they were so happy to come over for the wedding. And we're actually celebrating our 10-year wedding anniversary in October. So excited for that.
So you transitioned from California to Maui.
Yes.
It was a huge transition because you're transitioning to another state. You're embracing a lot of change. And what drove you, besides the fact of its beauty, what gave you the instinct to say, I think I'm going to give up my family. I'm going to leave everything I know. And I'm going to move out in the middle of the Pacific where there's no one there that I know. And it's all going to be new to me. So that you have to really embrace change and be willing to take risks if you're going to do that. It's beautiful, but you had to start all over again from the very ground up and give up all your current TV appearances. So I'm sure that was a transition for you. What was your mindset at that point?
But I think for me, it was having this experience of all the traveling I did in my 20s and seeing new places made it less intimidating to do a move like that. I think if I never had any of that experience with MTV, any of the traveling, any of all of that, I probably maybe would have the desire would have been there, but I don't know if I would have had the guts or the willpower to make it happen. And so I think that's again why everything that we experience in our lives really, really does lead us to who we are today. And all the things that we experience or whatever we go through really does. So all what I went through in my 20s, literally not knowing, gave me courage to say, okay, I want to move. This is beautiful. This is the place for me that I want to be in the whole world. And it is a lot to give up your home where you are. I did that twice, actually, but to move all of your belongings and to do all of that, that is a huge thing to do and a huge commitment. Like you said, being away from family, all of that. I am just a big believer of doing things that your heart and your mind and your body are leading you to. And I genuinely feel it's like a nudge and a push from Jesus where he wants to lead you. And I feel like that's with a lot of things in my lives. When I feel like I'm trying to do something and there's a roadblock or something stopping it, and you just keep wanting it to happen and you keep trying and it's not working out, it's not meant for you. And I had so many lessons when I was younger where I would still keep trying to do it even though it wasn't meant for sin to. I pray on it. I listen to my heart. I just try to feel where he's guiding me and leading me. And when the door opens easily or it's an easy path, then I know it's the right way and it's from him. And so when things just work out how they're supposed to, it's meant to be. So I'm a really big believer in that with so many things in my lives and all the things that I've done. Now, even in the last 10 years on Maui, I feel like it's all because he was guiding me and leading me. And then, the magic happens that way, right? We bless other people. We make, impacts, whether it's community impact or just an individual person that you're blessing and helping. But everything is meant to be in his will for us. So, I know I'm getting spiritual there, but that is really true. When we fight against something, we try our own way. And if it's not meant for us, the door closes, sometimes abruptly and hard.
Well, I think that part of our podcast lately has really been about listening to your intuition and listening to that small little voice inside your head that's guiding you. A lot of times we ignore it as women because we try to power through things or force things. I think women are getting back to intuition and back to who they are. It's almost like God's speaking to you through your intuition. And so kind of transitioning with that. So when you were on Maui, your intuition, is that what drove you to start the Aloha Ladies group, or were you doing another job before that?
Yeah, well, actually, when that started, we were just coming out of the pandemic. I have a lot of friends, people that we know here on Maui, and a lot of them too as well. And so as we're coming out of the pandemic, I just was feeling this really push and pull to somehow just help women, whatever it is in the capacity. I didn't really know. And sometimes you get feelings, you get urges, but you don't really know what it is. And I don't want to say like it's a dream, but sometimes it's a dream, it's a thought, it's an idea, it's something on your heart. It could come in any form. And it's just this intuition, like you're saying, like we have, and we just we don't know what it is. And so that's what it was for me. I didn't really know what it was. I just knew coming out of COVID, we were all seeking relationships again, friendships again, time together again, just being with our friends again, or just anything. That shut down and COVID was hard on everyone. We all were inside our homes, stuck inside, couldn't do anything. So I think we were all needing that. So as things were opening up a little bit, still timid, not knowing, I started just trying to get small groups of women together, our friends and things like that. And then I noticed there was a lot of my friends that had businesses, small businesses and bigger size ones that wanted to let the community know that they were open, but no one knew. Nobody knew it was open, or the small business is over here struggling. They haven't had any sales the last year and they need to pay their mortgage still and all these things, and they got to put food on their table. And so it was kind of like, I already had this smaller little platform on social media. And so I said, hey, can I help you? Let me help just, put it out there. I don't know who's going to see it, but put it out there that your restaurant's still open or that your business is still open. And so I started doing that, and I started having little get-togethers. And again, not knowing where it's going to lead, not knowing what's going to happen, right? It's just when you feel, and this is one thing I want to really share with all women, that if you have some feeling in your heart or you have some dream, don't ever feel like it's too late, or, I'm in the craziness of kids right now, or my focus has to be on my family or my husband, or I have a 9-to-5 job and I don't have time, but I have this thing in my heart I would love to do. We're never too old. We're never too craziness in the life going on to do one little thing for us or do something. And so for me, it wasn't that I was thinking about money, didn't care about that at that point, and still don't. I never have with any of the things that I do. It was for me not trying to start something that I was going to make money off of, not trying to start something that I was going to get big or famous off of or anything like that. It was for me something that I could do to impact and help others. And I knew if I was feeling this way, that I needed connection and I needed time with women, or just have something face to face after this whole COVID thing. I knew other women were probably feeling this way too. And businesses I knew were hurting and struggling. So I just took that because I knew if I had a need for this, there has to be other women that need this too. I started trying to help other businesses, friends get out there. And then I tried to start having little get-togethers, which the women automatically were like, yes, please, we need this. We need this. Thank you. And so I'm like, wow, there really is a need. So, okay, let's continue this. Let's keep getting together and doing things. And so it just kept growing and growing. Businesses would reach out to me. Oh my gosh, can you share for me too? And then I'd start having bigger women get together, and the women were just loving it. We were just bonding and connecting and talking, sharing heart and creating new friendships and strengthening old friendships. It was just beautiful. It was so beautiful, this connection that women need. And we need it now. We need it all the time, not just started. So it was just an idea, wanting to help, wanting to bless with really no other strings. Just that's all it was. And then I think as it's grown so much over the years, people feel the genuineness of it. They feel that it's coming from my heart. It's not about money. It's now fast forward, it's this huge social club of women. It's just to have a special place, a sisterhood that women can come together, come to the events, be together, share, meet new friends, and then in turn for blessing nonprofits around the island and, doing really good things for them. And so to back up a little bit, the events were small, and as they kept growing, there was more and more women wanting to go. And I'm like, and I do an event for 50 and it would sell out like in an hour. And I'm like, wow, okay. So now we know, there's more women needing to do this. And I would do these events, and basically everything that would be wrapped up in the event, whatever the money would be left over out of the hard cost, buying the flowers and the venue and the food and stuff, that would go towards a nonprofit. So it'd be like Make-A-Wish Hawaii or Common Ground Collective or, Village of Hope, helping foster children on Maui, being the children with disabilities, helping put fresh food and produce back into the community. So all these different amazing nonprofits, they're benefiting off of it. At the same time, all these women are benefiting because we're all coming together and being together. And then as it keeps growing, everyone, business wise, a lot of businesses offer things are like, we want to bless the community. Here's some stuff for a giveaway. Can you do that? Or here's a, really great special I want to offer only to the social club. And so it just now is catapulted to so many different things where it's bringing women together, saving money, getting fun giveaways and freebies to super fun events, and then also helping nonprofits. So it's just really kind of made itself evolve over this whole time into something that's just been such a big blessing. And the blessing for me of it all is really just seeing the other people that I'm blessing, seeing the nonprofit that I'm blessing or helping. That's huge for me, and knowing what an impact it's making for them and different things within their nonprofit. When I get the women together for events and afterwards, that was amazing. Thank you so much. I needed that. I didn't realize I needed a sisterhood and to meet other women. And then that to me helps me like, yes, if I can just impact even one person, fantastic. And nonetheless, multiple or even hundreds, you never know. And, I've had so many even small businesses where I share for them on the platform for the social club. So all of the members can see this business, learn about this business. They get an exclusive special for them, which, we all love. We all want to save money. And then those businesses write me messages back. And I have numerous of these messages, and it's these businesses saying, wow, because you shared that for me. And there's one in particular, it always sticks out. She's like, thank you so much for sharing my business. It means so much to me because you did that. I got so many sales. I was able to pay my rent this month and be able to stay in my home and feed my children. And so it's like, wow. Stuff like that. We don't even realize the impact we can have on other people when sometimes we think something seems so small. It is not. Just to impact one person like that is incredible. So, and there's just so many stories like that. There were messages that I've got. And that's one thing for me. If I could do anything with the podcast today with sharing this message is to share with other women. I mean, of course, men too. Even if you have a little thought in your mind, feel a pull in your heart spiritually, or if you're a believer and you feel it's Jesus, someone's nudging you or he's nudging you, or you feel like you have this idea, don't ever think it's too small. Don't ever think, oh, it's too small. It's not going to get anywhere or do anything. Because even the smallest of an idea, if you can end up blessing one person in this whole world with it, it was worth it. And usually 99% of the time, 10, 50, you never know. So every single chance or every feeling you have is worth it, because in the long run, Earth, to love one another, to love other people, to give to people, to make an impact, to have a purpose. We live to bless other people because in turn, we get blessed back. Whenever we do more and we help others, it comes around to us tenfold. And that's truly why we're here on this earth. We're not going to be remembered later on because we had a beautiful big house or we had that special car in the driveway. or we had the prettiest face with no wrinkles, right? We're not going to remember for that. We're going to remember for the impact that you made. People are going to say, wow, her soul, what she did. My goodness, she contributed this. And it could be anything. And again, it doesn't have to be that you have to do some career or platform or social club like me, right? It could just be anything. It could be something small. It could be that your decision is to once a month make beautiful cards or little paintings and go deliver them to, say, a memory care facility for older people. It could be a retirement home. It could be just anything that you are a difference in someone's lives, and people will remember you and thank you for that.
That sounds amazing, Shauvon. You really sound like your cup is full. It sounds like the Aloha Ladies group. It's not just a service for you to give to people, but they're filling up your cup too. And it's amazing when what you do can give back as much as what you're giving out. And I love the fact that your cup, and you feel so inspired after you do these events and these social clubs, and bringing everyone together as a social club and as an organization so that you really do have a womanhood. You've created an environment where people can thrive and learn and teach each other and learn from each other, etc. And businesses can grow through this as well. I'm loving this. This is amazing. And not to transition too quickly, but then you transitioned as well. And you, after the Lahaina fires, which was a big deal for Maui, you transitioned and wrote a children's book. It gave you the idea to create a children's book and the reason why, and then how you came up with the idea as well.
Sure, absolutely. Well, when I was in college, I wrote for the newspaper, and then I wrote for a magazine later on in my life. So I've always been a writer. Interesting, you'll notice when you look back at your life, you'll see little things to where something later on happens and you go, I see how that full circle happened. And that's kind of one of the things with the book. So me and my daughter since she was, I don't know, maybe 3, so young, she's 8 now, but I would write these little books, little stories, and then she would color. So I would read them. She couldn't read yet. I would read them to her, just what the words I would write. And then she would illustrate each page. And so we had this thing for all of her childhood, basically, where we'd always just do this. So it's always been a thing I love to write. I've always loved doing. I never really thought I would write a children's book. I just more did it fun with her. And so when the fires happened, that was extremely devastating for our whole island, for all of us. Very, very hard. And so having a child that was what she would have been like 6. And so, I think 6, almost 7, having her not understand or children can't wrap their head around what has just happened. That is so extremely devastating, right? And we also want to protect our children and not hurt them either, right? So we have to give them the information of the truth of what is happening, because they saw how frantic all of us were. I mean, you can't hide it from your child. There's smoke. I was here on Maui. You can see everything that's happening. So they don't quite understand. They're at that age. And so after the fires, when things were kind of settling, obviously there's still so much going on. My husband was actually with his business over there trying to help with all the stuff, like right after the fire. And so then all the way through the cleanup, I don't understand why daddy's not home at all. And he's gone at 4 a.m. and he's not getting home at 10 at night because he was over there helping with this. So when I was helping to volunteer and do things that I can, so we were kind of in this, she's like getting what's happening. She's sensing it all. She's feeling all of it, but not understanding. And so as I'm trying to explain it to her, I was feeling this really pull on my heart. Can't just be her. There has to be other children. And so I was wrestling with, I can't share a story about that. That doesn't make sense for me. And so I would pray on it and pray on it. And for me, was like, I'm really feeling this pull to make a children's book, but I don't understand, because it can't be to make a children's book about the fire. That doesn't make sense. Everything was really fresh. It was kind of confusing. And again, that's where all of us, all different situations, we feel these pulls, and sometimes we don't know what they mean or how they work out. So I just kept thinking and praying and thinking and praying. And then I was trying to share it with my daughter more and more. And then it's about Lahaina. It's about the beauty of Lahaina. It's about the people of Lahaina. It's about the whole history this is about. It's about keeping Lahaina alive. That's what it is. And so as I kept working through all these thoughts, I reached out to an artist. She's born and raised on Maui, has her family here. And I reached out to her and said, this might sound crazy, but I just have this pull in my heart and this idea. Can we meet? Can we talk? And so I said, I'm having this, that I really want to write this story, just be like a beautiful keepsake for everyone and give back with it and just bless the community and bless everyone. That's really what it was for. I want to bless the Lahaina community overall because of what they all went through. And I want to bless everyone beyond if I can with it. And so I said, can you do the illustrations? If I say each page, what I'm really wanting to portray on each page with illustration, can you do that for me? Would you be willing to do that for me? And she said, yes, absolutely. She's like, I love it. And I thought this was perfect. This is when you were meant to intersect and meet each other. And how I even met her was through my social club. So again, it all ties into my journalism major, writing for years and years, never knowing that I was going to do anything with that. And then doing the social club, meeting her through that. I mean, everything just connects and intertwines, even when we don't think it does. We got together and we created this beautiful story, and these characters are journeying through Lahaina. And in every illustration are these beautiful, important locations, and a lot of them historical locations in Lahaina that are no longer there. They got taken down by the fire. So now when you can open this book, you feel like you're right back there in Lahaina, like it's still there. And for me, there's several parts of this. So there's the part of, we just want to give back. We gave back with the book to Lahaina Arts Guild. It's an incredible nonprofit in Lahaina that blesses all the families that live in Lahaina. And I think it's like 4,000 music classes, 5,000 art classes every year. It's incredible. So that was right up our alley. This is perfect. So we gave back. So we blessed the community that way. We also, in turn, when I met people from especially we did a book signing at Barnes & Noble, it was just incredible, the response, because you also have these feelings of, is Lahaina, everyone that's in the community all over Maui, but especially Lahaina, are they going to understand what we were trying to do for them? Are they going to understand that we really just wanted to have something that they could have a keepsake and bless them? And any family that wrote me that was from Lahaina, we gave them a free book. We really tried to just bless how we could. I just thought about this. I should actually fast forward a second. This was also a big part before I got into creating the book. And I feel like this is a huge pivotal piece in this. So this is really important to share. So I'll kind of fast forward back to pre-book when I was having the nudging, thinking about the book and wanting to do it. So I ended up having this, I helped host and create a big event. It was for 250 Lahaina children and their families that lost their homes in the fires. There's way more people than that were affected by this, of course. But we wanted to try to focus, if we could, and then expand it out from that. But first focus on the ones that lost everything, their homes and everything. And so when you take 250 children and their families, it was over a 700-person event. And so I helped with Hope Chapel. We all created a plan. How can we do this when we want to be a Christmas event? It was the Christmas after the fire. So how many months after? Everything was so new, so fresh. And we just were like, let's just bless the families however we can. So it was a beautiful event. We had photography set up where we did a photo shoot. The event was incredible. We tried to encompass everything we could just to make it a very special Christmas for them. So Chick-fil-A donated all the food. We had bikes and ukuleles and all presents. I mean, it was incredible. It got every child got to get 5 presents, take home a bike. And then we had photographers come and do Christmas photography sessions. And we had big bounce houses. We just tried to make it the most fun, beautiful, so they could just come. It wouldn't obviously change anything they went through. It's so small in the scheme of that. But it was just to give them one day that they could just not think about that they could come, they could just see the kids' faces light up and just be happy and have fun. And that's all it was about. Because of all of that and that day, it was so heavy. There's no way it cannot be heavy, right? What all these families just went through, and you're just trying to bless them for the day. You just want them to feel that we're here for them. We love you. We want tears that day. Just share on them and love on them. And so that day, that was one thing that I feel like was such a huge thing in the book too, because I remember seeing the kids just light up so happy. And I was like, wow, if there's something that I could do that could help these children light up like this, but every day, not just today, what is that? How can I do that? And so in the turn of praying about the book and everything, that's kind of how it all came to be, where it was this is it. I'm understanding now the pull I'm having for this children's book. It's to do this, to bless and bring smiles to children. And that's kind of how it all worked out. So back to the book, it just ended up being something that we met so many people, me and the illustrator, when we were doing, like, say, the book signing and passing out books, where there's just community members that come up and would just hug us and have tears and say, thank you for doing this. We needed this. I needed this. And these are adults, even though the book's for children. And it was like, that's it. And I literally looked at Tione and said, this is why we did this. This is why. So it's always like, again, you can always do things. And I like to revert back because I want this to inspire whoever's listening to this podcast, anyone that's listening. I just hope that these little stories that I can share, some big, some small, just will give them some type of inspiration for maybe something they have. And so with this book, it was like, okay, great. We have blessed, this person and then this person and now this many people. And that's all it is. It's just all about giving back. And, one story I'll share very briefly. We've done a lot of book readings at elementary schools here. And in one school in particular, without saying the name, it was beautiful. It was about a class. I think it may have been 2 kindergarten classes. So I think probably a little over 40 kids, and all the parents came. And so we, talked with the families. They made beautiful art for us with rainbows to match the book. And it was just beautiful. And we got to talk story. Both teachers dressed up as the characters to the book. It was just a beautiful experience. And we got to just meet the parents and the kids. And so we read the book. And afterwards, the teachers did a beautiful hula dance for us and played the ukulele. And then the kids sang songs to say thank you for us coming. And one of the teachers says, there's a little boy that wants to share something with you. And so he stood up in front of all of us. I mean, I can only imagine how nervous a little kindergartner could be in front of families, all his students. There's like over 40 kids. And he stood in front of us and told us, while he's holding actually the book in his hands. And I do have a photo of it. And then hugging him after, but he goes and he says it in his small voice, and he's like a little boy. And he goes, I just want to say, I lost my home in the fires. I was very sad, but I read your book and it makes me happy. And I just was like, come here, open my arms to him. And he ran to me and I'm just hugging, and I just start bawling and hugging him. And here's this little sweet boy angel in my arms. And I'm just thinking, my goodness, I could cry right now. Like, this is why. So even though I helped bless so many other people in that moment of my years of the hours I spent on writing and rewriting and taking away from my own, I spent with my daughter to do this. And so it's like, it's all unselfishly just trying to give, and all of that work, all the money I had to spend to produce the book, I haven't made one penny off of it. So it's like, I've spent money, I've out of my pocket, out of my time. But that moment and hugging him, this is why. And I can just really, these type of moments for the rest of your life make you, that's it. That's what I needed. I just needed to impact one person if I could. And if it's more, fantastic. And then after we did that book reading, the teachers say, okay, go hug these, which are just us. Go hug them and say thank you. And then here's 40 kids rushing at us and hugging us at the same time. And it was just so much love and so beautiful. And those are the things and those are those moments that make it all worth it. And yeah, that's how that all played into be. And so don't know if I would ever write a book again. I loved the whole experience. I thought it was incredible. And we were able to bless so many people with it. But really, I just the impact alone and the love that the community felt for me and the illustrator Tione was just really all I wanted. So
it sounds like you're guided a lot by faith, and that your faith really does drive your actions. And when you hear your intuition tell you should go for something, you wrestle with it for a little bit. You pray about it for a little bit, and then you just kind of jump in and do it. You don't hold back. You go all in. There's nothing slowing you down. That's what I love about you. And you're always such a giver to provide service to other individuals, and always helping and giving hope and encouragement. You're just loving on everyone. I think a lot of times we as women forget that, we are divine feminine, and part of who we are is to love other people and to give. And we make the world a better place when we are in our true femininity. And you're constantly in your true feminine. You're giving to other people without the need to receive. And that level of giving is rare in this world. And that's one of the things I love about you. So going forward, how do you see your career, or do you see yourself going towards any types of organizations? I know the community, the Aloha Ladies group is huge. The community of that organization is still going strong and growing, and probably growing into other areas. But do you see yourself branching into anything else? Because you're kind of like an entrepreneur and growing into new businesses constantly.
Thank you so much. That was so sweet. That honestly means so much to me, hearing those sweet words from you. I appreciate that a lot. That means so much to me. Where it's going to go from here, it's always the sky's the limit, right? Aloha Ladies Social Club keeps growing and growing. I suggest anyone listening to please come on. It's free, and follow us on Instagram. And I don't know. I just want to continue on growing and expanding in the areas that women need it. And that's just want to keep creating a platform and a space for women to feel heard, to feel included, and to help their dreams come true. When I'm helping other women share their business and talk about it, I'm helping, that's their dream. Like, that's their dream and their business they wanted to do. And I'm helping them get it out to the public, to the community, and spreading it. So I'm just trying to continue helping women just learn what their passion is, maybe help guide them if I can, help them get out there. So as much as I keep growing, I truly just want to help other people. It's just a way to bring us together and to grow. And there's some couple little things I want to share really quick. So for anyone that's listening, that I hope this will help them a little bit. If they say, I've had that in the back of my head, but I just can't do that. Or I have this thought and I never could. I have a pile of laundry over here. I have 2 kids at home and I just can't for me. I'm done. And the one thing I just want to say is we're never done. We can do anything. Did I think I was going to be writing a book at this age, a children's book? No, but then you just do it. There's all these different things. You can do so many things. You don't have to just do one. You can do, if you feel a tug on your heart, you can do it. Couple things that I like to do. So if they're feeling like a pull on their heart, or they're feeling something, right? So I feel like this is with all of us. We always want to say, it's too late, or I can't do it, or it's not perfect. I don't have the whole idea. Well, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can just start where you are, write it down, get your thoughts out. I always love tell one person in your circle. It could be your child. It could be your husband. It could just be one friend, but just share it with someone, write it down. And then each day, take 10 minutes for yourself where you just think about that idea, write that idea. If you're starting to feel like something on your heart, like, wow, I could really do this. This is something for me. This is a dream that I had. This is something that I've always wanted to do, but I just don't have the nerve. Well, take even 20 minutes now and say, okay, what could I do to further myself in that dream? Is there one email I could do? Is there one day where I could just research one topic of this? Just do something leaning towards it. And then as you keep doing that, and as you keep giving yourself more and more information, it might come to you even more clear. And then you might say, oh, wow, maybe I can do this or do that. Another thing I love is a joy list is, let's say, write down 15 things that make you happy, just you, right? Something that is for you, that you love. And then say just once a week, pick one of those things off that joy list and do it. Do it for you. Do it for yourself. Those are things that just help us lift our spirits. And I know, as myself too, being a mom, center my whole self around my daughter, my life, my kids, keeping our home clean, right? All these things we have to do, plus our other things. But we got to focus a little bit on our dreams, ourselves, our hearts, our minds, all those things. And so make a little joy list. Start today. Make a joy list of 15 things that make you happy. And then just carve out doing one of them a week. You'll notice a difference. And then if there's a little dream or something that you have in your heart that you want to do, just write it on paper, maybe talk to about somebody, and then just every day, even if it's for 10 minutes and that's all you can spare, write on it. What could you do to help you get there? What's one thing you could do that could maybe get you one step closer to that? Look things up online or get a book about it, anything that you can do. And you'll start feeling a little bit of clarity for yourself on whatever it is that you might be able to do it. Because at any age, we can do anything that we have in our mind, if it means something to you, you can do it. And for me, it was just, I knew that I was meant to use my connections, my heart, whatever it is, that it was meant to bring women together, to support women, to empower women, and to make an impact in my community and to other people. And I didn't know how that worked. I didn't know how that was going to come to be, right? No one knows. You're just kind of like, I feel all these things. I know I got to do it somehow, but I don't know how. But I just started. I didn't try to make it perfect. I didn't try to say, oh, I have to have this beautiful business plan and this beautiful logo and all these beautiful things in place. Started. You have to start. It's never the right time. That's one thing. People even say that about kids, right? Before I had my first kid, it's always a blessing. So same thing with this. It's just, I didn't know where I was going. I didn't have a huge master plan for it. I just did it. And I feel like that's where the beauty comes from things, is just creating and doing. For me, it was praying on it and just feeling guided to however it was meant to turn out. And I feel that with any of us, we all can do anything at any age. And that's one thing I just really want to portray, because I feel like I hear from a lot of women, I can't, I'm just too old now, or I've passed my time, or, I just have too many things that I can't. And that's for me, because I hear that so much, especially within ladies I talk to at the social club, but they're like, wow, I wish I could do something like this, or I wish I could. I hear that so much. So I just hope that anyone listening to this podcast, that they feel inspired, even if it's just a little bit, and that they are able to want to, whatever it is, take notes from this or take an idea or a thought or anything, and that they can really just feel like, okay, I'm leaving listening this today and I feel inspired, or I feel I want to go do something now, or I want to help someone, or so.
Well, one of the things that happens a lot with women, especially in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, is they start to lose their identity. Their identity gets wrapped up in their relationship. It gets wrapped up in their children. One of the things I love about you is that you keep reinventing yourself and doing things that help build your identity. You're thriving with your identity in your marriage, which means you have a marriage that's, you're supported in, which is wonderful as well. But you're growing as a person with your identity in your marriage and with your family. And one of the challenges I know is the work-life balance and managing all this, because you've got a lot of balls up in the air, or you're juggling a lot of things at the same time. And how do you keep that work-life balance with your family, with your daughter? How do you keep that going so that everything stays together?
Yeah, I think, years and years and years ago, I don't think I did. I think I, at that time, was very just all about my daughter and just doing the things and scrambling everywhere. And I think as time has went on and I've learned more and more tools and more ways, now I am. You kind of just sit and you focus down on, okay, these are things I'm carving out for each person in my circle, right? Could be your parents, it could be your children, could be your husband. And then what about for me? What am I carving for me? What do I need to make sure that I'm doing so I can be a better mother of things? So it's all about finding that balance, which is very difficult, but that is something that can be found when you can just sit, look at all your things, get yourself organized. And really, it's almost like speaking to someone that can help you, whether that's like a coach or like almost like a motivational kind of a friend or a person, which I hope I can be that for everyone in the social club and anyone else that needs it. That's something for me that I've always wanted to continue to help other women. And I don't know if that's the way that I'll end up going. You never really know. I've had a year or so where I actually had this event plan that was going to be kind of like a mixer for the social club, but also be motivational and empowerment kind of a thing. And I just have all these just things that I want to share and say and just help women. So that might be something that later on ends up evolving, I think, on its own. But I've always been a believer in not just saying, oh, I'm this or I'm this or I'm that, or putting myself in a category. I really just see how things evolve and how things come. And if there ends up being more and more women that reach out and that want help or want to learn how to do this or want more tips or things, like I would love to share that. So even just connecting with other women in that way. So I don't know how it will all evolve eventually, but that's definitely in my heart and how I want to help others. But I think we all have lots of things on our plate. Everybody does. And so we have to just look at them, how we can arrange them in our daily life to where we keep feeling successful at the end of the day and feeling like, okay, I conquered all these things. I also did something for myself. And yeah, if anyone's looking for a sign, this is their sign. They can do it. They can make it to where every day feels at the end of the day, a regular doing the same, like getting up, feeding the kids, going to work, coming home, getting up, going to bed, same thing. They can They can have the life they want and the life they dream. They just have to put some few things into place, but it can happen. You want to live in a certain place like Maui. This is where I wanted to be, made it happen. And twice I moved back when I had my daughter to be close to my family. And my grandma had really mentioned she ended up passing away. And that little bit of time we got with her when my daughter was first born is so precious to me. And I think if I wouldn't have came back, I wouldn't have got that. And then I knew I'm going to move all the way back to Maui again. Did it twice. And we just all have these things in our lives that sometimes feel changes or different paths, but they're all meant for a reason. And we just have to figure out and look ahead on how we think it's going to be and just really feel whatever's in your heart, whatever you're feeling the tug. We got to follow with those feelings because they're there for a reason.
It sounds like you really know your purpose, and your purpose is to help and serve other people and to give people love. And that's, I think, a strong part of your purpose. And one of the things women lose a lot of times, whether they're just going through their midlife crisis, or maybe they get a divorce or they have a spouse die, they lose their purpose. Because a lot of people's purpose is wrapped up in their relationships, but you've taken it and you've wrapped your purpose up into serving so many people and making a strong impact on the community as a whole. And there's people that are now benefiting from your purposes. So how do you keep your marriage strong at the same time while serving the community as well?
So let me think how I want to answer that question really quick. So you asked like how I'm keeping my relationship strong.
Because you're focused a lot on serving others, that's part of your purpose and loving other people. How do you keep your relationship going when you're serving other people and making sure that, your purpose is driven with him as well?
That's a great question. It's all about balance, right? So when he's at work during the day, I focus on my daughter in the morning and then I carve out my day. I have a set calendar. I do set myself, okay, I need to do this for this time at Aloha Ladies and do this. Okay, I need to email these people back for events. Everything's organized and structured. And then at the end of the day, I make sure I stop it when it's time to stop and it's family time. And I make sure it's what I need to do with my family, or it's a walk on the beach or a sunset walk. And I have my time that I need things for me that I know is filling my cup up, is filling others' cups up. So it's all about balance. And in the weekends, it's going to be mixed with a little bit of work stuff, but usually it's family time. So it's just finding the balance of what you need to do for your children, what you need to do for your partner, what you need to do for work stuff, and then for you. And we forget so much about us. And that was me for years and years. I never filled my cup. I wouldn't do anything for me. It was always for other people, for other people, for other people. And still a lot that way. But I do make sure that in turn of that, I'm trying to fill my cup a little bit with things that bring me joy. And again, that leads you back to the joy list, right? So.
And how do you, balance your religion as well as this? Because I think your faith is a big driver in who you are as a person and your identity. How do you balance that as well?
Yeah, so it really is. And I know for everyone might be different, their belief system and things like that. I am a huge believer. I've always been a believer. I really feel that Jesus gets me through everything. And we're talking the good and the bad. For how I on a daily work is, I have this book called Jesus Calling. I think it's incredible. It's a great way to start your day. It's a short little message. You read one a day. And I have the book, I could just show you guys, but I have this book for, I'd say now, oh my goodness, since before I had my daughter. So it could be 9 or 10, almost 10 years, who knows, probably 9 years at least, where I read the same message every single day for a full year. And then when you get to the end of it, you start over again. And it's funny, the book's starting to fall apart. And my husband goes, why don't you just buy a new one? And I said, how many tears that book has seen? That book has seen so many shedded tears on so many days at so many different times. I'm like, that book holds so much of my emotion and love and pain and everything. And I said, no, I can't get rid of this. It even has teeth marks from when Violet was like, I think 2 years old, biting on the corner. Well, I know if I'm going to go on vacation for a week, if I don't bring it, I'll take screenshots of each page and read it. But yeah, so for me, it's starting my day, reading that, getting my head in the right, praying and talking with him. And then through every decision that I do or a way that I'm feeling, I pray on it. Is this meant to be? Am I meant to go this way? Please guide me if I am. I don't know, but just show me the way or put up a door. Don't let it happen. So for me, my faith is huge in it. I know he's there. I know he's guiding me. I know he's protecting me. And sometimes we don't understand things. There's bad things that happen in our lives, all of our lives, tragedy, and we don't get it, but we just have to keep having faith. And I just the way that he has guided me and let me bless so many other people and impact their lives. And in turn, that's been such the big blessing to me. I know that's from him. I know that he has that. He only has good for us. He only wants good things for us. He only wants to bless us and show us the beautiful life that we can have if we believe and trust in him. And I don't want to push anyone if anyone doesn't believe in that, but it never hurts to believe.
I've also incorporated including your family in some of the events too, and have them like help you out a little bit. I know that you've got an Instagram page for your daughter, and she talks about her faith a lot as well. And you're showing her the way through a great example. How do you see that, balancing out going forward? Do you see more of that happening? Because I'm sure she's taking after you as you're a great influence on her.
It's just really sweet seeing her kind of grow in her, watching her kind of pray, or she has a little book that she reads daily too. Watching her, I thought, oh my goodness, this is adorable. I would just love for her to share this with other children. And so I said, do you want to share this with other children? And she said, yeah. So we started this. It's called Jesus Inspired Kids. And then she's able to kind of share little messages or little cute things for other children. So right now we just made a little page on Instagram and TikTok. Kids aren't really on there as much, like her age. So we're really going to transform it into more of a YouTube space. That way, I think younger kids can see at her age and kind of just be inspired and hear sweet messages like that. Yeah, wherever she ends up taking it to.
You've taught her well how to share and love on other people. And that's one of the blessings that you offer. It's just how much love and concern you give for other people. And that's one of the things with the Aloha Ladies. It comes from your heart. It comes from your soul. And you were guided. I think it was divine guidance, honestly, into doing that for other people. Do you see it growing into other areas, maybe having a men's group as well? Do you see that happening at all?
Actually, I cannot say how many messages I get from other islands, especially Oahu and Big Island, that are like, do you have this over here? We need this over here. And I said, yes, we're working on it. So we currently are working. I just have all of them follow the Maui page for now because it's just kind of all inclusive for everybody. And I support all the islands through it, of course, too. But yeah, we definitely are starting and growing into other areas. And I have one girl on Oahu and then a lady on Big Island that I'm kind of talking to see if I can kind of get to know them more. Probably need to plan a couple trips together and see if I feel like they could be the right fit for kind of leading. But there's so many women that reach out that want that on other islands and other places. And I think men would love that too. Yes. So there's absolutely potential for all of that. I will just, as wherever there's a need is where we'll do it gladly. And if there's a need for women wanting more help and guidance, I'll evolve into that. So I'm just kind of wherever people reach out to me, I encourage people to reach out to me. Send me a DM on Instagram. I'd love to meet you, talk with you. And if there's a way I can help someone, I would love to.
Yeah. We'll post your website as well if you want a link to it so people can have access to contact you. But the other thing is so you've grown as such an individual and such an inspiration to so many people. And you do truly have an entrepreneur spirit. Do you see yourself going into other businesses or any other ideas besides Aloha Ladies or besides the book, et cetera? What other areas do you want to focus on in your career moving forward?
I mean, that's a good question too. There's a lot, I have to say. I have several different things kind of written down. As I would say, some are kind of goals, some are kind of dreams, some are kind of ideas, right? Like I like to separate things out, which is also another good thing to do too. I separate them out and you almost like categories, right? If you will, and you kind of look at them and say, what could I do to edge towards this? Is this what's meant to be? And I pray on them and I think about them. I work on daily a little bit. So kind of the same thing I was highlighting earlier, and make your list, work on it 10 minutes a day or 20 minutes a day. And so I do that too. I implement all the things that I'm sharing myself. And so, yes, I do have some other ideas and some things. I won't share too much yet until I know that they're evolving. But definitely, if I foresee them coming forward and happening, people will absolutely see them on the platform, on the social club and the emails. But right now, it's just, I see a big part of Aloha Ladies. I mean, it's really continuing to expand largely and fastly. So I see a lot of different avenues with that. I still have several events that are coming up, for the rest of the year. I'm really excited about those. So lots of events, lots of things bringing women together, lots of functions on Instagram. And those are so fun. People love those, and lots of ways to support other businesses. I have this really fun VIP experience platform thing that's coming out with the social club. So that's going to be amazing. So that's in the works right now, hoping to launch that at the beginning of August. And then I really would love to somehow start almost like call it coaching, but just like nurturing would be the word, because I'm a nurturer and I want to help. I'm so like guidance. So if there's a way that I can help guide and nurture and help women in all aspects, there's something like that I'm kind of looking into and just praying on and just waiting and see what is the need there? What can I help there? So we'll see how it all comes to be. But there's a lot of things. And that's really one of the things. If you can make your list, make a dreams list. That's okay to dream. It's okay. Even if they feel so far out of touch, just write them down. If you have ideas that seem silly, write them down. They can be creative ideas. You can have your fun, silly, expansive dreams, and then you can have the more realistic things, but write them down and you will see them. They will happen. So, and I can tell my mom of this really quick. If she listens to this, she'll be like, probably already thinking this in her head. From a little kid to like a teenager, she used to tell me, mainly when I was a teenager, how she had this list and how she wrote down, when I get to be a certain age, I want this. I won't list all the things on there. She had these things listed down that she wanted to happen for her, right? And like almost like, I don't know if it's a manifesting list, but it's just what you want, what you dream of. And so she put that away. And then when she opened it, I don't even know how years later, whatever it was, those things came true on the list. I mean, it was like, wow. And so I remember her sharing the list, showing me the paper. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you wrote that how long ago? And those things happen. So it's baffling. So because of her sharing that with me, I am a real believer in putting things on paper, writing them down. I mean, if I can even find, I'm sure I have it put away somewhere. I've been doing Aloha Ladies now for over 4.5 years. I wrote things down. I jotted them down. I remember in the very middle, I made a circle and I wrote Aloha Ladies and I drew lines coming off of it. How could I help people? What can I do in this? And literally, it's just sketching stuff. And here we are. Fast forward 4.5 years later, I'm sure, 80% of those things on there are real now, without even thinking about it. So
one of the things I'm sure you have to be good at, because you do so much for everyone else, is to make sure you still have boundaries to tell people no when they try to extend you, because it's always a struggle for women that like to give, is to be able to say no to other people, because you're going to have to, because you can't get everything done. So how do you balance that by saying no with making sure you focus on purpose and focus on what's necessary to make sure you're hitting your goals?
You hit that nail on the head. That is so true. That is so true for all of us. So I am working on that myself. Boundaries are hard to do. They're hard to set up. I think they are very important. But yeah, for giver type people, they can be definitely hard to do. And we can stretch ourselves too thin sometimes when that happens. So yeah, that's something that I just hired on and brought someone on to be helping me with Aloha Ladies, kind of be a new team member. I'm really excited for her. I think that's going to kind of take some things off the plate. So I'm not feeling like I'm doing so many things, and I can allow for these other dreams and creative ideas to come to life. I'm just like, well, how can I reorganize better, hire on someone so I don't really have to say no? I can just spread it out a little bit more so it's not so much on me.
And how do you keep your self-care going? So how do you take care of you as well with your self-care routine?
I mean, it's really important to do that. And it's hard when we're busy everyday life, kids, careers, work, all of that. For me, one of my things that's like a non-negotiable is me and my daughter, my husband get off work. We go and do our sunset walk. We go out and kick the soccer ball around, or we go to the beach and we walk on the beach, but that's our thing. So no matter what's going on, for me, okay, it's about 5:30 or 5 o'clock, time for us to eat something. And I just shut it off. And so for me, family and that important time is truly so important. I don't let it get over stuff going on. It's just going to have to wait. And so for me, things that are self-care to me, which is somebody else might be like, oh, getting my hair done or a massage. And I like that stuff too. But for mine, day-to-day most important is family time, getting sun, seeing the sunset, breathing in fresh air, being outside, and doing those types of things that really bring me joy.
That's beautiful. So you get to spend quality family time together. You've created these businesses that are self-sustaining and they're growing to a bigger level. And you've given so much back to the island of Maui, which is such a blessing, I'm sure, for everyone there. Is there anything you want to add to the ladies out there to give them maybe a little bit of motivation or to give them a little bit of inspired thought to help them grow into their own purpose, to their own ideas, and to realize their dreams?
If you dream of something and it's in your heart, just don't let it stay there. I guess that's one thing. Sometimes we have these feelings and we just let it sit. If we put all the energy, love, time, thoughtfulness that we put into our kids or our husband or our 9-to-5 job or whatever it is, if you took all that, even just 20% of that, and took it to that dream and put it into that dream or wrote it on paper where that dream is, just try it. That's all I have to say. Try it and you'll see what will come out of it and what will happen. If it's in your heart, it's for a reason. That's the main thing I can say. Just don't let it sit there. Bring it out. And sometimes we don't know what to do with it. And that's why I suggest saying write it down on paper and then even tell one person closest to you. See what you feel after you do that. You'll talk with them about it and they'll say, oh, well, what's your idea? Well, what would you do? And then you'll interact on that idea a little and it actually starts to grow and you'll see, but just don't let it sit in your heart because we all are blessed with so many gifts and blessings and we're meant to use them. So and same thing with you. You're so good at talking and supporting people and it's like your natural gift. You can just talk and say so many beautiful things about people and you interview people and you talk about people and it just genuinely comes from your heart. It just comes out so natural. Not a lot of people could do that. And just talk so effortlessly. You're not reading a script. You're just talking. It just comes from your heart and not a lot of people can do that. And that's your gift. That's your blessing. You're connecting so many people that it could be 1 or 2 people that listen to this podcast and it could be 50 that listen to, say, one you did the other day. And you might change people's lives. You might encourage them. You might bless them. You might help give them knowledge that they never had an idea about. So that is the blessing of this podcast and so many podcasts and what you're doing. That was your gift. And you have so many more gifts.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I do think that my gift is to help empower women in all areas. I like to help women grow and to live life to their fullest. That's our purpose, right? Where your idea is to help and organize communities and mine is to help every individual woman just empower her life and to live the best life she can. I love that. But I think we're good. I think we've covered almost everything today. If there's any other closing statements you want to make, otherwise I think we'll wrap it up.
Thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you for your time. And I just hope that anyone listening feels a little bit more inspired.
Well, thank you, Diva Shauvon. This is Diva Mia signing off. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. We love hearing from you. Visit thedivadetails.com to connect. See you next week for more.
Diva Details podcast and website are intended solely for informational and entertainment purposes. The content provided does not constitute professional, medical, financial, or legal advice. We are not licensed medical practitioners, financial advisors, or legal professional. Always consult with a qualified healthcare provider for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Any financial topics discussed are based on personal opinions and experience and should not be considered professional advice. The content provided does not constitute legal advice. The Diva Details and its affiliate contributors and guests are not liable for any losses or damages arising from the use of our content. The opinions expressed in the podcast are solely those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of any affiliated organization, sponsors, or partner. All facts discussed in the podcast are researched and accurate to the best of our knowledge at the time of recording. Information may change over time. No guarantees are made regarding the accuracy, completeness, or reliability of any statements or opinions presented. It is the responsibility of the listener to verify any and all facts that may influence their decision. This podcast is for information and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered professional advice.